some mist and fog patches around first thing. As we made our way through the day, these eventually lifted and cleared. The cloud thinned and broke to allow for some brighter weather into the early evening. Some sunny spells at time. Tomorrow we'll see this continue with temperatures at about 10 degrees Celsius at the absolute best.
Why are gentrified streetwear stores so scary to go into? Okay, the Labo time. We missed it. Ooh, success! Hey everyone, it's Job. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming along with me into town. It was nice just getting a coffee and walking around Gastown. It's always a little bit of, not a routine almost, but it's something that I like to do pretty often, to just go head into town by myself, walk around, grab a coffee, look at some stores, maybe not buy anything, sit down and journal. Today I didn't get a chance to journal or like doodle at a cafe, but it was nice to just get into town and just to walk around. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what I got. I basically just went into town to buy an ink. I wanted to buy this limited edition. Well, it's not limited edition at all. It's a long-standing ink that a lot of people might know. It's Pilot Iroshizuku's Inaho, and it's actually going to be discontinued. And so I wanted to grab a bottle of it because it's a lovely brown shade with like this olive green in it, and it's so nice. It's like a nice brown, and I couldn't pass it up, and I felt like I would beat myself for not owning it when it gets discontinued. So I played around with it the moment I got home. I'm just using this Tomoe River paper notebook. This is actually a Take a Note 2021 planner, but I don't really use it as a planner. I just am using it now for its Tomoe River paper, and I just do a few swatches. I did one in my coloring, which is my ink swatching ring system, but I don't really like it as much. I'm still using it, but once I'm done using all of those little sheet inserts, I'm gonna head over to a different system to swatch my inks because I don't really like the paper. But as you can see in the Tomoe River paper, it's such a lovely ink, and it's a nice shading ink, and it's a Pilot Iroshizuku ink, so it just flows nicely, and it's just a nice, reliable ink, which I'm happy to add to my collection. Now I'm just showing you, this is not really stationery related, but I also wanted to find my signature scent. I know it sounds really dumb, but I don't know. Something sounds so appealing. Well, sorry, not something. It sounds kind of appealing to have, a scent that is very me. And so I bought this sampler pack from Labo. It's a little bit pricey. So I just got a sample pack and I want to try things out before I commit to a bottle. But I do like Santal 33 and all the other ones that came with it. So yeah, that was my little haul for today. Okay, let's get journaling. So today we are using a Midori Traveler's notebook in the regular size, and today's insert looks a little bit different because I've been using a mixed paper insert, which has black paper and craft paper. So it's like a Frankenstein notebook, and today we got lucky, or maybe unlucky, but we're using a full-on black paper spread for today's journaling session. And I was really nervous because working with just, straight up black paper is a little bit harder because you got to be more mindful of the colors. And so I decided that I would add a little bit more of some contrast to this spread by using this white tag that came with my Labo Discovery Set sampler pack, as well as these little scent testers. So they kind of spray these little pieces of paper with the scent, and I just wrote down the different scents that I tried out. And it's actually really nice because every time I open this spread, it still smells good actually, because it still has those samples from when I was in the store. And as you can see, there are these small pencil doodles everywhere that I was working on. Those are actually some gouache doodles that we're going to work on later. But I decided that I also wanted to incorporate the ink that we got today. And so I made this little swatch using some Tomoe River paper that I cut out of my old Take a Note that I did the swatching on earlier. And I just did a little swatch for my daily journal for this spread, just because I wanted to incorporate it in some way, and obviously that ink wouldn't show up on the black paper. So I really wanted a very I don't know how to say this, but like a very accurate depiction of the ink, because I don't know, if I did it on some regular old copy paper, the ink's just not going to look the same as when it's on Tomoe River paper, if that makes any sense. But now we are getting to the actual meat of this journal spread, and it's these gouache paintings. So I haven't really shared a lot of journaling videos on here recently, but I feel like I'm on this journey of gouache painting in this journal, this specific insert. I think there's something about the black paper and the craft paper that makes me want to paint a little bit more, which is odd because it's actually quite hard. At least for me, I'm finding it quite difficult to paint on this, just because you don't have white paper, and you don't have the ease of using the white paper to your advantage to add highlights and whatnot to your paintings. But I thought it would be fun to just kind of experiment with this insert. And honestly, I've been trying to paint daily. I've kind of shared my little journey on Instagram. Now I'm not painting daily just because I was getting really anxious about it. But right now I think I'm in a good place where I'm kind of painting semi-regularly. So I'm painting maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe even 4 days a week. And it's really nice because it makes me feel so much more creative. Up until recently, I've been feeling kind of stuck with not my journaling style, but I've just been kind of sick of just printing out photos all the time. I got into a really good habit of printing photos weekly on my lovely Canon Pixma printer, but there was just something missing from these journal spreads, and I think it's because there's been a lack of my own personal touch to it. Even though photos speak 1,000 words, because that's what pictures are, they speak 1,000 words. There's just a lack of a personal touch or something that felt really me there. And so I've decided to paint a little bit more in this insert, and I feel it's a return to what I used to do a lot more. I always used to paint in my journals, and if you've been following for the longest time, you would know that I was using the Shinhan palette, the watercolor palette that I bought in Korea, and I still use that today. But I don't know, there's just something about using gouache and how opaque it is and how it layers on top of each other that I've been finding really fun, but also really challenging. I'm not really kind of taking lessons on anything. I'm kind of just playing it by ear, and I think that's the best part of it. It's like a exploration in some painting. And while I've been doodling and chatting with you all about like my recent love for painting, I should probably tell you what I'm painting. So I did like the first, I guess, layers of the painting earlier, but the top, I guess, left hand mini doodle is like the little the Labo perfume sample that I tried to doodle. And then I'm doodling a this cream puff. It's one of those deluxe cream puffs that have like a little chocolate mousse on top and like some fun decorative elements, and it has I forget what it's called. I think it's called crackling. I don't know. It's a French word, but it's those cream puffs that have like a crackle topping on top. I think it's called cracklin. I don't know. But yeah, that's the cream puff that I bought from Nemesis, and I was trying to paint it. And as you can see, I'm like still having a hard time. Like I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I've been really having a lot of fun, like just trying to figure out where like shadows and highlights go. I still don't really have a grasp of like how light and lighting works in paintings. I know like if you're looking at like a study, you can kind of just follow where the highlights are in the study that you're doing, but most of the time, like for these two items, I don't know. I feel like I was going at it blind because I was just going from memory, and I think it turned out all right. I'm still, completing it, but I realized that the barrier between painting and not painting is my motivation to see how long I'll be journaling, because I realize that I take a really long time to paint, and so if I'm not that motivated to paint, it's probably because I don't want to spend like an hour or like 45 minutes at my desk like working on a little painting and doodle, or working on a journal spread for that long, because usually I save like 30 minutes each day to do like my daily journaling in various notebooks and whatnot. And some days, you just don't have the time commitment to sit down and paint just because of life and everything. But I realized that when I do have the time, or when I do commit the time and make time for this, I really do enjoy it, because every time I've rushed like, a paint doodle or painting, I've never really liked the results. So this journal session, I've sped up like quite a bit because I was huddled over my desk working on this like little doodle painting, and I'm really liking how it's turning out. I feel like my gouache journey is, really just starting, and I can't wait to actually dive into some actual like resources and material to actually help me understand how to use this like this painting medium a little bit more. But I've been rambling on and on, but I never said what type of gouache I've been using. I've been using the Jelly Himi gouache. This has made a few appearances on the channel a few times already, but this is the main palette that I've been using for all my paintings and doodles as of late. It's such a fun palette, and I've been really liking mixing colors and just kind of like playing around with it. It's a really inexpensive gouache set. Obviously it's not like professional like quality, but that's not what I need. I just need something that's fun, easy to use, accessible, and has some fun colors in it. I'm not worried about like light fastness or whatnot, because if anything, I'm just gonna take a photo of my journal and then I'll have a copy of that. It doesn't need to be like color accurate. To complete the little gouache painting, I just wanted to do some brush lettering using the gouache. And for me, brush lettering with gouache is a little bit harder because I have a hard time figuring out the perfect consistency to get my letter forms correctly. But I really like how I wrote Nemesis here. And then obviously, actually it's not obvious, but the upside down heart is the logo of the Nemesis cafe that I bought this from, which you briefly saw in the vloggy portions of this video. But yeah, to continue my journaling session, I just erased all of my pencil marks using my eraser, and then I'm gonna go in with the collaging because I can't not leave this spread with just a painting and some writing. I definitely want to collage some bits, and so I grabbed this vintagey brown paper. I think this is actually vintage paper, like there's some German on it, but it's definitely vintage paper. and I just tore a corner off of it to ground the little swatch, and now I'm just taping the swatch on top of that because we love a good layering moment around here. And I also wanted to add a little bit more highlights onto and definition onto like the little like perfume sample. So I added some details with some Posca paint markers before working on this collage. So this collage is a little bit more straightforward. I just used the found items that I had that day to incorporate into the spread. So we have that Discovery Set tag as well as that perfume sample that I got in store. I did some more blocky letters for the Labo, and I didn't know how I felt about this because it kind of didn't match the Labo branding, but that's okay. I still like how graphic it looks, and I've always loved using Posca paint markers when I'm working with any paper other than white paper, just because it looks so graphic, and obviously black and white just look good together. In terms of my accent decorations, I thought I would go with some yellows, blues, and greens just to pull in the different collage elements, because that Himikuri date stamp that I have, not date stamp, date sheet, has some yellow and green on it, so I decided to use some yellow and green dot stickers, and then I pulled in the blue with this powder blue I guess thin washi. And then I just pulled out my washi tape from the home collection, and I realized that I had to use the photo of Gastown that made it into that tape. This is a film photograph that I took, I think in 2018 or 2017, that made it into this into that tape, and I had to put it in. You probably saw the little Easter egg in the vlog where I showed the building, but yeah, that was the exact building that was in that little PET tape, film PET that I had in my shop, and will most likely have in the shop again when the pre-orders are back in store. But yeah, I was really happy that I could put like a little Gastown photo into this spread without having to print any photos, because I have my washi tape for that, which is, you know, a fun little coincidence, I guess. And then for today's journaling, I wanted to use Inaho, obviously the new ink that I got with a fountain pen, but obviously we're using black ink, so I just decided to use my Posca paint pen. I actually have these paint pens in like the finest tip, so I can still journal with it. Actually, some people think the tips are a little too thick, but there's two variations of this pen. There's like the chisel tip, and then there's a one that's a little bit I guess thicker, and then this is the finest nib that they make for the Posca paint pens. So if you're looking for like something even better than a white gel pen that's super opaque, just journal with a Posca paint pen, because it'll definitely look way more opaque than any of the gel pens you'll get. I mean, there are some really good gel pens like the Uni Ball, Signo, and then like the Jelly Roll, but I still swear by this, even though it's not like a full-on pen. But you know what? You gotta just use what works for you, right? And then obviously I can't leave this spread without any, you know, starbursts and like these 4-point stars that I always add to everything. It just adds a little bit of sparkle to the journal spread. And yeah, I think this journal spread really encapsulates what I've been really liking as of late in terms of my journaling. There's some collaging, there's some painting, there's some PET tapes, there's some regular conventional washi tapes, and you know, there's still a calendar date sheet, which is kind of like a mainstay in my daily journal pages. I can't wait to kind of work on more spreads in this kind of style that really encapsulates me right now, and I can't wait to show you more of these. I don't know if I can call them hybrid journal spreads, because they're still like, you know, regular old journal spreads, but you know, journal spreads that have more me in it, more aspects of what I like and what I've been enjoying. But I think that's it, folks. Thank you so much for coming along with me to Gastown on this little adventure. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.